Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Adorable Secrets, and in today's tutorial we're going to be drafting this bustier crop top or cutting a breast pad using a local foam. And for the back view, this is what we're going to be making use of, a loop method in place of a zip. So let's get right into the video. Welcome back guys. So this is everything I'll be needing for this tutorial. I have my lining, I have scissors, tape, chalk, I have my fabric I'm going to be using, and of course I have my local pad which I'll be using for the bustier cup, and I have my measurements. So you'll be needing all these things for this tutorial. Now you need to understand something, that there are so many ways to cut a breast cup. And a breast cup, the front part comes in three panels. This is something you should know. It comes in three panels. So first things, we are going to be cutting the middle panel first. It has a middle panel and it has two sides. So I'm folding a bit around 4.5 inches and 5 inches just for my middle part. First of all, that is what I want to cut first. So because it's a crop top, I'll be using my half length as the full length of my top, which is around 17 inches, and I'll leave an allowance there. I have marked out my nipple points and then my under bust measurements. And then going up, I'll be marking out 5 inches. It's an off shoulder. This top is an off shoulder. It's not going to be having a shoulder, so I am using 5 inches for this very one. You can go ahead and use 4.5 depending on how deep you want your off shoulder to be. So I'm using 5 inches as my off shoulder marking, and I'll just rule those lines. So that's my chest line. The second line is my nipple points. The third line is my under bust. And of course, the last line is the full length of my top. So guys, come to the nipple points. The nipple points, you are going to make it 4.5. I'll be using 4.5. That is your nipple to nipple measurements, guys. Use your nipple to nipple measurement for your nipple point line. Mine is 4.5. If you divide 8 inches by 2, you will get 4, and that is how I got 4.5. Under bust, you're going to subtract 1 inch from your nipple points, and that is what I have marked right there, 3.5 all the way to the half length. And then on the chest line, I'm going to repeat the same measurements I used at the under bust, which is 3.5, and that is what I'm using at my chest line, and I'll just connect these lines together. If you have a curved ruler, it's going to help you to curve out your nipple point very well. If you are good with your free hand, go ahead and do it. Whatever works for you, just make sure your nipple point is pushing out more than the other lines. So guys, my chest line I use 3.5, my nipple points is 4.5, under bust down to the waistline is 3.5. It is only the nipple points that is 4.5. Yeah, so in other words, I subtracted 1 inch from my nipple points measurements to get the other parts of the measurements. I don't know if you're getting me. So make sure you use your free hands to curve your nipple points. Make sure your nipple points is having that curve at the very tip. It's not supposed to be sharp. It's supposed to be curvy, just like you're seeing right here. It's supposed to have that curvy shape. So here we have cut it out, and this is the middle part of your front panel. So I'm going ahead to fold again to get the sides of the front. So all you need to do, take this middle part and capsize it right on top of the folded material. I'm going to capsize it like you see me do right now. So guys, I'll be using this middle panel to get the length measurements for the side. I'm going ahead to cut out the down parts and the upper parts, making sure that it is the same length that I have. So automatically you're going to notice the space at this very corner. You see this corner that I am marking bad. This is our dot. This is going to serve as our dot. We're going to be eliminating these parts. So go ahead and follow up the cutting using your middle front as a guide. You're going to follow up the same line. So guys, this is our dart and it's no longer useful. So all you need to do, go ahead and trim out the excess from this side, and then you're going to return the middle parts back to its normal position. You can see what we have right now. This is our dart position. You can see the middle parts and the side panel. Here we go. This is the middle. This is your nipple points right there. You can see the bustier is having the shape of a breast cup. So the next thing, guys, I'm going ahead to take my measurement proper. On the chest line, I'm going to be adding the dots that I subtracted. Remember, so you'll be using your bust measurements for that upper chest line. Whatever you have after dividing into four, you're going to add the dots that you subtracted. Mine is 2 inches. I've gone ahead to add my 2 inches, and then to the nipple points, I'm taking my bust measurements. I added two. I added 1.5, sorry, to it, and then to the under bust, I've divided my under bust measurement by 4, and I added the dots I initially subtracted, and then I'm doing the same thing for the waistline, which is also my top length. I'll go ahead and connect it first with the dotted lines, and then I'll cut it out. So the next thing I want to do now is to get my armhole. Yes, it's an off shoulder, but I still want it to have that armhole slope. So I'll be making use of my shoulder measurements divided by 2 plus the dots I initially removed. So it's giving me 10 inches. So from there, I'll just connect it a little bit down. You necessarily don't need measurement for this. Just curve it down to about 2.5 or 3 inches, and then you cut it out. So guys, this is what we have. Our middle panel and the two side of our fronts is ready. And then moving forward to cut the back, I folded my fabric into two again, and I'm trying to check if what I folded is going to be enough. So just divide your bust measurements by 4, add 1.5 inches allowance to it or 2 inches allowance to it. If you notice it's not enough, you fold again, which I have just done right here. So I have folded again to have enough space for my back panel. So I'm taking out 1.5 inches as my zipper allowance. Though we are not going to be putting a zip here, but I'll just show you what to do. So this is my zipper allowance, 1.5 inches. And I'll just roll out the line. Next thing I'm going to do, I'll take my front panel, any part of my front panel, and just place it right on top of my back. Here, I just want to get my measurements, the length measurements for the back. This is making sure that my back and my front is of the same height. Here, guys, I want to go ahead and take out my neck measurements. I'll be using 4.5 for my back neck. And then for the depth, remember we have initially subtracted 5 inches for our off shoulder. So you don't want to go too down if you don't want the back neck to be too deep. But this is depending on whatever you want to do with your back. I'll just remove 1 inch, making it 6 inches. So I'm just going ahead to take out 1 inch from my back, and I'll connect the line together to the zipper allowance. So now the next thing I want to do is to take my vertical measurements from the 5 inches line which is serving as our off shoulder line. So measure your chest line and then your under bust line as well. Next thing is to take your dart measurement, which is also your nipple to nipple divided by 4, just like you did in the front, and connect it on a straight line. And on the waistline, you come in to the left by half inch and to the right by another half inch. And then use your ruler to connect the darts together all the way to your under bust measurement. This is going to serve as your darts. Take your measurements for your bust, divide it by 4, add your desired allowance, and come down again to the under bust, divide by 4, whatever your measurement is, and add allowance. And then to the waistline, divide your measurement by 4, and don't forget to replace the dart that you initially removed. Add your regular allowance and then connect your lines together. So here is what we have for the back. This is our zipper. Guys, remember I said we're not going to be putting a zip. So I'm going to be showing you how we are going to be putting the loop at the back. So I'm going to be removing this allowance. What I mean is that I'm going to be cutting off this allowance that I left for my zipper. If you're going to be putting a zip for your own, you don't have to remove, you don't have to cut out the zipper allowance. You just leave it right there. And that was why I used this allowance so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So here I'm using the front armhole to trace out for my back armhole so that I can have equal front and back. So guys, I'm cutting off the allowance like I said. Reason being that after fixing my loop and attaching the rope at the back, I still want to have a slight opening in between the two panels at the back. At the middle of the back, I still want to have a slight opening at the back. I don't know if you understand what I mean. I don't want it to be completely closed. Yeah, so guys, we are done with the back drafting. So this is the front and also the back. I'll be uploading the second part of this video right after this one. There we'll be concluding the padding and the sewing of this breast cup. So if this method was pretty easy, please let me know in the comment section. I'll see you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.